Heartwarming discovery. Millionaire stumbles upon incredible dance between his disabled daughter. Ethan Clay had built his empire on ruthless ambition, each deal an exclamation mark in a life that prioritized wealth over warmth. But everything changed the moment he heard his estranged wife's desperate voice crackling through the phone. "It's Lily, she has taken up dance." The words hung heavy in the air, dragging him back to the soil of his small Midwestern town, a place he had long since left behind for the glitzy allure of city life. As Ethan rolled into the town, he was hit by a wave of nostalgia, porches creaking under the weight of summer heat, kids darting in and out of lush, flower-filled yards. A far cry from the cold, glass towers he inhabited. But his heart raced with anxiety as he arrived at the community center. Peering through the window, he saw her, Lily. Her vibrant smile illuminated the room as she wheeled herself forward, determination etched across her face. The moment the music began, she transformed. Each graceful twirl set against the melody felt like a beautiful rebellion. For the first time, he saw his daughter's spirit shine through her disability. Tears brimmed in his eyes as he witnessed her dance, a bittersweet mixture of pride and guilt swirling in his chest. How had he missed this? All the boardrooms, all the late nights, had they been worth his absence? In the whirl of energy and strength, he felt a profound emptiness inside himself. His presence in town sent ripples of unease through the community. They gathered around Lily, embracing her artistic journey with open arms and warm hearts, while Ethan felt like a misplaced cog in this tight-knit machine. The townsfolk exchanged whispers, their glances wrapped in resentment, as they supported Lily and her remarkable instructor, Grace, a young woman radiating hope and determination that starkly contrasted Ethan's wealth and corporate victories. Torn between wanting to protect Lily and his instinct to control, Ethan confronted Grace, who stood her ground defiantly. "Lily is blossoming," she exclaimed, eyes blazing. "She deserves a chance to express herself." Her passion was infectious, shaking something deep within him awake. Why was he so afraid of letting go? With every interaction, it became painfully clear how desperately he'd lost touch with what mattered most: his daughter's dreams, her laughter, her dance. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." As the annual dance recital approached, tension spilled over. Their rehearsals were filled with Lily's laughter, Grace's encouragement, yet Ethan felt something slipping away. The moments he had chosen to avoid were the very moments he craved now. The thought of Lily performing haunted him. Would he stand by as a spectator forever, or would he finally confront the past that loomed between them? As the curtain neared its rise, so did the impending decision that could reshape their relationship forever. Ethan felt the weight of years of neglect pressing down on his chest. Could he really change? Would he embrace the love his daughter had fought so hard to share? The fervor of Lily's dance beckoned him closer, daring him to step out of the shadows. But would he respond, or would he remain trapped in the echoes of missed opportunities? Ethan sat in the dimly lit backstage area of the community center, his heart beating in rhythm with the distant sound of music. He could hear the laughter and chatter of the other children and their families as they prepared for the recital. Each sound seemed to remind him of the distance he'd put between himself and Lily. He glanced toward the stage entrance, where the bright lights shimmered, casting shadows that felt like memories of all the times he missed. As the curtain began to lift, revealing a colorful tableau of eager young dancers, a rush of anxiety surged within him. He could see Lily's shiny wheelchair, adorned with bright stickers and ribbons, pushed into position at the front. Grace stood beside her, whispering encouragement, her hands gesturing animatedly as if trying to channel the music into Lily's spirit. An overwhelming sense of pride washed over Ethan, but it was smeared with regret. What kind of father had he been? The thought cramped his chest. He couldn't let fear of judgment keep him from supporting his daughter, He had to be there for her, not as the cold businessman he had become, but as her father, the one who should have celebrated her every achievement. As the music swelled, Lily wheeled forward, her eyes sparkling with determination. The moment she began to move, all his worries slipped away. She was radiant. Each rhythmic push of her wheelchair felt like a dance in itself, a testament to everything she had overcome. The audience erupted into applause, but all Ethan could hear was the beat of Lily's heart, a sound that echoed his own. For the first time in years, he felt a spark of hope flicker within him. It was buried beneath the weight of his past, but her spirit ignited something long dormant. With each delicate movement, Lily pulled him closer to the person he wished to be, not just for her but for himself. He could see the audience's faces inching closer to absolute adoration. Parents were whispering compliments about what a brave dancer she was. And yet, his heart sank at the thought of how long it had taken him to realize her strength. Each twirl and spin was more than just display. It represented Lily's triumph over adversity, the kind of journey he had once shunned. As her performance continued, he couldn't help but think of the conversations they would have in the future. The late-night snacks, the stories she'd tell, and the laughter that would fill their home as they knew one another on a deeper level. When the final note echoed through the auditorium, the audience erupted into cheers and applause, rising to give a standing ovation. Tears streamed down Ethan's cheeks. He stood rooted to the spot, but the warmth of that collective joy started to thaw his fears. What if he stepped forward now? What if he surprised her with the one thing she wanted most, a father in the front row? In that moment, as Lily beamed at the audience, he took a tentative step towards the stage. He could almost hear her laughter urging him on, her trust igniting a fierce desire to pave a new path. But just as he reached the edge of the stage, doubt flickered through his mind. Would he be accepted in this new role after everything? The question hung heavily in the air, his heart racing as he contemplated his next move. Suddenly, the lights dimmed, and the spotlight shifted away from Lily, catching him squarely in its beam. The unexpected spotlight felt blinding, yet it pushed him closer to the decision he dreaded. Would he reclaim the father he was meant to be, or retreat back into the shadows? And as the audience began chanting Lily's name, he took a deep breath, feeling both exhilarated and terrified. In that moment of silence before he moved, he realized that the time for his transformation was now. Would he find the courage to embrace it, or let this moment slip away like so many before? Ethan felt his heart pounding, the noise of the crowd fading into a dull roar as he stood at the edge of the stage. The chants of "Lily! Lily!" swirled around him like a whirlwind, and he was still. Doubt clung to him, heavy and suffocating. He glanced back at Lily, whose face radiated pure joy, eyes bright and shining as she soaked in the love that poured from the audience. What was stopping him? It took only a moment for him to connect the dots. Fear had wrapped itself around him for years. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of being too late. But here, in contrast, was Lily, fearless and full of life. This was the moment that could change everything. With a deep breath, he stepped forward again, taking that leap into the unknown. Every smooth surface of the stage felt new beneath his feet, each step a reminder of the barriers he'd built between himself and his daughter. But he shed them one by one with every push forward. As he finally reached the spotlight, laughter and cheers faded into a hush. The dimmed lights cast an almost holy glow around him. Every eye in the room was on him, waiting. What a terrifying blessing! Then, as if sensing him, Lily turned her gaze to him. She stopped gliding and stared wide-eyed, her smile widening as she processed the sight of her father, standing there for her, ready to join her in this moment. It was like the world around them evaporated. All that existed was that flicker of hope shining in her eyes. Ethan raised his hand, awkwardly waving, unsure of what to do next. But as soon as her face broke into a grin, he felt his courage swell. He held his breath and shouted, "I'm so proud of you, Lily!" A swell of emotion came crashing over him, raw and undeniable. It felt like a dam breaking inside years of regret, sorrow, and what ifs pouring out of him in that one declaration. The audience erupted again, perhaps feeling the connection that ignited between father and daughter. People were on their feet, cheering not just for Lily's performance, but now for this impulsive moment of reclamation. With a renewed sense of purpose, Ethan pushed himself towards Lily. He took a deep breath and knelt beside her wheelchair. "Can I join you on stage?" he asked, his voice trembling with excitement and vulnerability. Her eyes sparkled with mischief, her lips curling into a teasing smile. "Well, you've got two options, Dad. Dance with me or just cheer me on." The playful innocence in her tone disarmed him. In that moment, he realized how much he had craved this interaction, this connection. He could hear Grace laughing softly nearby, encouraging both of them to embrace this spontaneous moment. "Let us dance!" Ethan exclaimed, his heart soaring as he extended a hand, inviting her to spin that wheelchair in a rhythm only they could share. The audience roared again, laughter mingling with applause. As they began the slow turn together, Ethan was acutely aware of how different their worlds had been before. Still, he could feel the shift in his chest, the tightening of a bond healing right before their eyes. "I've missed you, Lily," he whispered as they twirled. She giggled, filling his world with warmth. "But I'm here now. And now we can do this together," she exclaimed, her enthusiasm infectious. With each spin, Ethan lost himself a little more. They may not have had the past he wished they'd shared, but every moment from here on would be a part of their journey together. The song was coming to an end, the crowd still cheering as the lights pulsed around them in a blaze of color. When the final note played, they finished with a flourish, the world around them erupting into applause once more. But just as they were about to bask in the afterglow, Ethan realized his moment of transformation was far from complete. He felt an urge to dig deeper, to find the real reasons he had held himself back. Maybe this was just the beginning. As the spotlight dimmed around them, he held tightly to Lily's hand. Would he dare to delve into those reasons, and how would their relationship shift if he did? The night was alive with possibility. And as he looked at Lily, he wondered what other discoveries awaited them on this new path together. Ethan stood there, holding Lily's hand, surrounded by the fading echoes of the performance. The bright lights of the stage now dimmed, but the warmth radiating from Lily filled the air with promise. It wasn't just a moment of triumph, it was a chance to explore something deeper, a path he had been too scared to walk. "Dad, did you see how everyone loved the dance?" Lily asked, her eyes still sparkling with joy. "I can't believe you joined me. That was awesome." Her excitement was intoxicating, dragging him out of his own thoughts. Smiling back at her, he could hardly believe he was finally here, connected to her like this for the first time in so long. But even as he reveled in her enthusiasm, shadows started creeping into his mind. Could he keep this up? "Yeah, it was pretty great," he said, forcing the enthusiasm to his voice. "But you know what, Lily? It's about more than just the dancing." She frowned slightly, tilting her head, curiosity written all over her face. "What do you mean?" "It was fun, and we were together." "I know," Ethan sighed, struggling to find the right words. "But I need to understand why I've held back for so long. What keeps me from showing up for you more? I want to change that." Lily's brows furrowed in thought, her childlike innocence momentarily giving way to a deeper comprehension. "Sometimes grown-ups are scared, right? Like scared of failing, or looking silly?" "Exactly," he replied, a lump forming in his throat. "I think I've been afraid of not being enough." She reached out, her small hand squeezing tighter around his. "You're my dad, and you're enough just as you are. I don't want you to be scared." Her frankness pierced through the cloud of doubt enveloping him. In that moment, Ethan felt a flicker of hope igniting within him. Could he really confront those fears? Could they dance through this journey together, hand in hand? Suddenly, Grace appeared beside them, her face beaming with pride. "You both were incredible up there." She glanced at Ethan knowingly, as if recognizing the shift taking place in him. "What's next for you two? More dancing, perhaps? I think we might need to practice a bit more." Ethan laughed softly, but his voice held a seriousness that caught Grace's attention. But I also need to talk to Lily about some things I've been holding on to. Things I didn't want to face. Grace nodded, her expression layered with understanding. That's a brave step. But I know you can do it. Just remember, Lily is full of light. Let her show you the way. Ethan took a deep breath, the weight of his hidden struggles feeling less burdensome under the warmth of his daughter's love. You're right. It's time for me to let go. To really be here for you. Dad, we're going to have the best adventure, aren't we? Lily asked, her cheeks flushed, that infectious smile lighting her up again. Absolutely, he said, the words spilling from him, filled with a newfound conviction. I want to explore everything with you. As they shared a moment of connection, a promise entwined in the air, the potential of their journey glimmered brightly, a journey that promised more dancing, laughter, and healing. But just as the weight of his fears began to lift, a familiar face stepped into the periphery of the crowd, shadowed by uncertainty. Could this acquaintance bring upheaval to the new path he was starting to carve with Lily? Ethan's heart raced once more as he turned his gaze back to Lily, wondering what this unexpected encounter could mean for them. Would they be able to weather whatever storm was approaching? The future beckoned, and so did the challenges. What awaited them on the horizon? Ethan could feel the tension in the air as he caught a glimpse of the familiar face. It was Jason, his brother. They hadn't spoken in months, not since the fallout over family matters that still tinged the air like a bitter aftertaste. Ethan had always wanted to keep his distance, craving peace, but now, standing shoulder to shoulder with Lily, he felt a flicker of dread mixed with curiosity. Dad? Is that your brother? Lily asked, tilting her head as Jason moved closer with cautious steps. Ethan hesitated, weighing how to navigate this moment. Yeah, it is. What's wrong? He not scary. Lily was eager, her innocent eyes shining with hope. No, he not. Ethan took a deep breath, trying to discard the worries that swirled like autumn leaves caught in the wind. Jason was not the enemy, but the thrum of unresolved issues crackled between them. The thought of Lily's excitement dimming made his heart ache. As Jason approached, his expression softened. Ethan, it's been a while. His voice was tentative, carrying the weight of unspoken words. Yeah, it has, Ethan replied, the words hanging in the air, fraught with tension. He could sense Lily's gaze darting between them, confused. Are you two celebrating? Jason pointed at the remnants of the performance, the echoes still dancing around them in vibrant colors. Lily just crushed her dance recital, Ethan said, pride swelling in his chest. Jason's eyes flickered with genuine happiness. That's amazing. I'm really glad for you both. Lily stepped forward, beaming. Uncle Jason. You should be seen us. Dad danced too. Ethan watched as Jason laughed, the tension fading ever so slightly. Wow, I didn't know your dad had moves. You really gave him a run for his money, huh? Lily giggled, just wait until next time. We'll practice more. It sounds like it, Jason replied, a wistful smile crossing his lips. The softness in his expression hinted at memories, good and bad, swirling behind his guarded demeanor. But as the three stood there, Ethan suddenly felt a rush of clarity. The journey he and Lily were about to embark on was not just about breaking down walls between father and daughter. It could perhaps bridge the gap between him and Jason, too. Maybe you can join us next time, Jason. I think we could use an extra pair of feet out there. The invitation hung in the air, waiting like a ripple on a calm lake. Jason's face brightened, but then sobered. I'd be like that, really. I just need to work things out first. Is it about Mom? Lily asked innocently, and both Ethan and Jason suddenly froze. Lily, Ethan began, ready to redirect her enthusiasm, but Jason put up a hand. No, it's okay, he said, his voice steady yet fragile. It's a lot to unpack, but maybe it's time I started. For all of us. Ethan felt a pang of hope as he watched Jason wrestle with the truth. Family means showing up, even when it's tough, he murmured. Yeah, Jason replied as he turned to Ethan. I want to be a part of this, really. Their eyes locked, and for the first time in ages, Ethan felt a connection blooming, a path toward healing. What happens next? Lily broke the silence, her eyes sparkling with excitement. I guess we dance our way through it, Ethan replied, a slow smile spreading across his face. As Lily squealed with delight, the odd sense of unity washed over them. But a flicker of doubt lurked at the edge of Ethan's mind. Could they truly face the storm brewing in the backdrop of their family chaos? Time would tell, but for now, with Lily's laughter filling the air, he couldn't help but feel that maybe they were all ready to step into the next rhythm together. What lay ahead could be a dance of a different kind of family trying to synchronize its steps toward healing. Would they be willing to take the first leap? Ethan watched Lily's face, her excitement radiating like the midday sun. It was infectious, pulling at the corners of his mouth until he couldn't help but smile. For a brief moment, the weight of their broken family felt distant, almost manageable. But then, a heaviness returned, a reminder of what lay unresolved. Dad, Lily chirped, her voice slicing through the thickness of the air. When will Uncle Jason come dance with us? I want us to be a family again. The three of them stood there, suspended in a fragile moment of possibility. Jason's eyes softened as he looked at Lily, his face a mix of joy and something deeper, like regret. Yeah, I'd really like to, Lily. I just need to work through some things on my end first. Lily's brow furrowed, her innocence not yet tempered with understanding. What things? Ethan felt a surge of panic. He didn't want to wade back into the murky waters of family drama while Lily was standing there, bubbly and bright. It's just grown-up stuff, he interjected quickly. You don't need to worry, sweetheart. We're figuring things out. Jason nodded, but didn't he look convinced? She deserves to know the truth, Ethan. Maybe it will help. Ethan's throat tightened. Sure, but at her own pace. He could feel Jason's frustration simmering just below the surface. But they both shared this moment, and it wouldn't do to argue in front of Lily. Lily bounced on her toes and clapped her hands. Can we go get ice cream? I want to celebrate my performance with a big scoop of chocolate fudge. Ethan chuckled, the warmth of his daughter's enthusiasm washing away some of the tension. Ice cream, huh? Sounds like a perfect idea. Count me in, Jason added, his smile returning. The three of them turned to head towards the ice cream parlor, the air tinged less with unease and more with something approaching hope. As they walked side by side, Ethan couldn't help but steal glances at Jason. The brother he had once laughed with now felt like a stranger, a mix of shared history and uncharted territory. What would it look like if they managed to heal together? What flavor are you getting, Uncle Jason? Lily asked, her bright eyes cutting through the silence that had settled like a thick fog. I think I'll go for mint chocolate chip, he replied, a smirk creeping onto his face. It's always been my favorite. Ethan chose to let the moment linger. Maybe it was silly to think that something as ordinary as ice cream could stitch together the pieces they had neglected for so long. Yet as they entered the little shop, a swirl of sweet scents wrapped around them, inviting and warm. Jason leaned down to Lily. And what about you, superstar? Got your heart set on anything special? Something yummy, she declared, looking at the myriad of options that surrounded her. Ethan felt a breath of warmth unfurl in his chest. Their little family unit had something good brewing, moments stitched together like patches on a quilt. But with every easy laugh and light-hearted comment, there was an underlying tension, like an unseen weight waiting for its turn to surface. Once they de-ordered, they settled at a small, round table outside. The sun was sinking toward the horizon, painting the sky in warm oranges and purples. So, Uncle Jason, Lily began, licking her cone eagerly, are you going to put on your dancing shoes soon? Because we need your help with our next dance. Ethan's heart raced as he watched Jason hesitate, the familiar lines of worry etching back onto his brother's face. Would he say yes? It was a question that hung in the air, fragile and important. Just then, the jingle of a small bell caught Ethan's attention as a couple strolled by, dancing to music coming from a nearby street performer. Laughter bubbled up around them, punctuating the air with joy. Ethan recognized the dance as part of the rhythm of life, the ups and downs, the movements that make a family. He turned toward Jason, his own heart pounding. Maybe it's time for a leap of faith. Jason met his gaze, surprise flickering in his eyes. Would he take that first step? The music danced around them, a gentle reminder that they all had a choice to make. Would they join in the rhythm of healing? Ethan held his breath, waiting for the answer, sensing that whatever came next, it would change everything. The tension hung lightly in the air, as Jason mulled over Ethan's words. Lily's innocent excitement thrummed through the space like a heartbeat, her eyes wide and expectant. It was almost magical how she could light up the dimmest of moments. But as Jason glanced at her, Ethan could see the narrowing of his brother's brow, the weight of years of unresolved issues crashing in. Dancing shoes, Jason echoed softly, almost as if testing the weight of it. The idea was both a comfort and a burden. I think about it, but I'm not sure I'm ready. Lily's mouth fell open in disbelief. But you have to. We can be like the old times, remember? Just like when we danced in the living room after pizza. Jason's expression flickered with a mixture of longing and sorrow, an old memory flashing in his eyes. I remember, he declared softly, a mix of joy and regret tasting bittersweet on his tongue. Ethan felt a rush of warmth at the memory, too. Their family had once been whole, filled with laughter and love, but everything had changed so drastically. He didn't want to force Jason, but Lily's plea tugged at his heart, a thread pulling them all together. How about this? Ethan finally proposed, his voice steady. Let us just practice a little. No pressure. Just you two, and if it feels right, we can go from there. Jason nodded slowly, though a whisper of doubt lingered in his eyes. I don't want to disappoint her. Lily leaned closer to Jason, her bright spirit casting away shadows. You want tea? I just want to see you move like you used to. It'll be fun. The laugh that bubbled from her lips broke through the heavy silence surrounding them. For Ethan, it was a sound of hope. Perhaps this moment could be the first step. Okay. Jason finally agreed, a hint of a smile appearing. Just a little bit then. But you'd better promise you won't laugh if I trip over my feet. Yeah, right. It'll just make it even funnier. Lily giggled, delight radiating off her, pulling her uncle back into the glow of their simple joy. Ethan couldn't suppress his grin. You're going to crush it. Just like the old days. As they walked away from the table, Ethan felt the familiar beat of their old life echoing with each step. They didn't need a stage or an audience, they had each other. The soft melody from the street performer swirled around them, lighting the way as they moved to the rhythm of newfound possibilities. As they arrived at the open area in front of the bustling shop, the haphazard dance floor awaited them. Jason took a deep breath, finding a moment's stillness amid the flurry of emotions. Lily twirled, laughter spilling into the fading sunlight, a bright, precious sound that suffused everything with life. All right, let us show them what you've got. She cheered, her little hands clapping in eager anticipation. Jason stepped forward, awkward at first, but seeing Lily's unyielding smile filled him with courage. He chuckled nervously, and something shifted. An inkling of joy blossomed deep within him. Slowly he moved to the beat, his feet finding rhythm as he mirrored Lily's enthusiastic spins. Ethan stood back, not just as a father but as a witness to something beautiful. Something that meant the world to each of them. They were dancing not just to the music, but to the melodies of their hearts, unveiling threads of connection that had been silenced for too long. But just then, as the laughter and joy wrapped around them, a familiar shadow crossed Ethan's mind. Would this truly mean change? Could their laughter echo beyond this moment, deep into a renewed family bond? He watched, holding his breath, both terrified and hopeful, as Lily and Jason spun together, their laughter intertwining like the dance itself. The first step had been taken, but a million more lay ahead. Would they be able to move in sync with the rhythm of their new beginning? The world around them faded as Jason and Lily danced, their movements growing more fluid with each passing moment. Hesitation turned into laughter, and laughter unfolded into a whirlwind of joyful steps. Jason's feet, once heavy with doubt, now embraced the rhythm of the music, swirling and twirling alongside his knees as though nothing could hold him back. Ethan watched, a smile stretching across his face. There was something magical in this simple act, a connection sown with laughter and family. Yet, just below the surface, the old fears still clawed at Ethan's heart. He wanted this to mean something more, but worry began to creep in. Was this truly a new beginning, or just a momentary spark that would flicker out? "Uncle Jason! Look!" Lily exclaimed, her voice bubbling over with delight. She attempted a spin, her small arms extended, and Jason caught her with effortless grace. This wasn't the stiff and awkward dance of guilt anymore. It was a celebration of life acceptance and love. As if reading Ethan's mind, Jason glanced over at him, and in that brief moment, he caught a spark of clarity. Maybe this could evolve into something deeper. As the music shifted to a slower melody, Jason pulled Lily close, her laughter still hanging in the air like shimmering silks. He blurted out, "You know, I used to dance all the time. Back when things were different." There was a wistfulness in his voice, a yearning for a time gone by, but also a sense of hope. "That's why we're doing this," Lily interjected, her eyes sparkling with determination. "This is a new different. We can start fresh." Ethan's heart clenched. The power of her innocent belief hit him. Could they really start over? The weight of Jason's past didn't need to hold him down forever. Before he could respond, a small crowd began to gather. People paused their hurried lives to watch this impromptu dance, drawn by pure joy. Ethan caught a few glimpses of familiar faces from the community. Nodding in appreciation, they understood the importance of this moment. As the last notes of the song faded away, Jason released a breath he didn't realize he was holding. "I think I could get used to this," he said with a genuine smile, standing taller now, his insecurities momentarily quelled. Lily grinned back, clearly proclaiming victory. "Told you." But the moment didn't last long, as Ethan suddenly felt a chill race through him. Breaking the warmth of their newfound joy, he noticed a figure standing at the edge of the crowd. It was Susan, their estranged sister, eyes locked onto them. She looked both proud and pained, as if wrestling with her own mix of emotions. "Not now," Ethan whispered under his breath, his heart pounding. The weight of years of division and unspoken words pressed heavy against his chest. Would she come closer? Would this moment they created together be overshadowed by unresolved tension? The crowd slowly moved aside, and all Ethan could think was how a simple dance had unfolded into layers beyond his imagining. With each step they took together, this moment held the potential to go far beyond laughter, and spinning it had the chance to shake the foundations of their family. Would Susan join them? Could this dance transform into a bridge that might mend what has long been frayed? Ethan felt the swell of hope rising in his chest, floating alongside a nagging fear. "Jason, Lily, wait," he called, voice steady but tinged with hesitant urgency. They turned, curiosity in their eyes, as all eyes now rested on Susan. What would happen next? Would this joyful dance shift the course of their family, or would it lead to yet another chapter of heartache? Ethan held his breath, the world around him dissolving into a blurry haze as he focused solely on his sister. Susan stood there, as if suspended in time, her expression a complicated tapestry of hope and uncertainty. Every heartbeat echoed in his ears. Would she inch closer? Or would she turn away, sealing their fragile moment in a bubble of nostalgia and fear? "Ethan?" Jason's voice broke through the silence, a subtle reminder that the dance wasn't finished. They had fought through doubt to savor this fleeting moment of connection. But the reality of Susan's presence hovered like a storm cloud, threatening to rain on their parade. "Just give me a moment," Ethan replied, his tones steady but his heart racing. As Jason resumed dancing with Lily, her tiny giggles floated through the air, bringing warmth back to the chilled space. Yet, all Ethan could do was look at Susan. She stepped forward cautiously, each stride heavier than the last. The crowd held its collective breath, hanging on her every move, uncertainty extending in all directions. "I thought I heard laughter," she finally said, her voice a mix of trepidation and longing. Lily abandoned Jason's embrace and rushed to her aunt. "Aunt Susan, come dance with us. We're having so much fun." Her enthusiasm wrapped around Susan like a comforting blanket, pulling at something buried deep inside. Ethan watched as the veneer of Susan's stoicism cracked, revealing a hint of tenderness. But that tenderness battled with shadows of what had been, a rough history that had left scars within their family. He knew this moment could just be about joy and dance. It had to confront what lay beneath. "Can we put everything aside for one moment?" Ethan asked, his voice stronger now, piercing through the tension in the air. Susan's gaze shifted to him, searching. The crowd was still, attention riveted, yet the music called them to move. She hesitated, but finally nodded, her lips curling slightly as she extended her hand to Lily. Jason watched, a knowing smile playing at the corners of his mouth. "It's all about finding a rhythm," he said, his tone laced with meaning. "Exactly," Lily cheered, clapping her hands. "We just need to believe. It's our turn to dance." She reached for Jason's hand, tugging him closer. The sight of her bouncing with excitement pulled at Ethan, a reminder of their family's innocence shining through the shadows. As the music swelled once again, Susan's hands found Lily's little fingers, and slowly, she joined them on the makeshift dance floor. It was simple at first, a few tentative steps, the kind that felt safe, held together more by the threads of connection than any actual movement. But each moment added a piece to the puzzle they were trying to put back together. The spellbinding music blended with laughter, binding them closer. Jason took a step back, letting the two women resonate in their own rhythm. Ethan watched, fighting back tears as his family slowly began to mend right before his very eyes. The dance, once just a celebration of joy, now transformed into a dance of healing. But even as smiles filled the air, Ethan felt the lingering weight of their past. It wrapped around him like a tight embrace he couldn't shake off. Would this dance be enough to withstand the storms of their shared history? Just then, a powerful gust of wind swept through the park, rustling the leaves, echoing a whisper he barely understood. "Is this real?" he wondered. Would they truly find a way to heal, or were they doomed to repeat the patterns of their past? Ethan's heart raced as he prepared to step forward, feeling a sense of urgency to bridge the gaps before them. "Hey! Anyone want to join in?" he called out, hoping to include others in their moment, but deep inside, he feared the answer. Would this moment slip through his fingers, or was it the beginning of something wonderful? As Ethan's invitation rang out, the crowd stirred, caught up in the shared spirit of their impromptu celebration. Faces transformed with smiles, and some stepped closer, eager to join in on the dance. The weight in Ethan's chest began to lift ever so slightly. Maybe, just maybe, this could be the turning point they all needed. Lily shot Ethan a radiant grin, her excitement illuminating the night. "See, Dad? This is how we get everyone together." Her voice rang with innocent joy, pulling him deeper into the moment. Jason chuckled, maneuvering Lily smoothly as they created space on the dance floor. "She's got a point. Family is about bringing people together. Let us make this huge." The two words, "let us make this," echoed in Ethan's mind, igniting a spark of determination within him. As he stepped forward, he felt the warmth of the community enveloping him. Faces of townsfolk flickered through memories, some tender and some filled with disappointment. But in this moment, that didn't matter. They could cultivate healing, a newfound bond born from love and laughter, far removed from past regrets. "A dance for everyone," Ethan declared, pulling Jason close, and together they joined Lily at the center. The crowd erupted into laughter, a wave of energy swirling around them, inviting people of all ages to join a series of souls filled with a common thread, united in spirit and movement. As their feet moved to the rhythm, Ethan caught glimpses of familiar neighbors stepping into the growing circle, each face filled with a sense of belonging. Children spun in circles. Laughter radiated out like ripples of joy as old grievances began to fade like fog in the morning light. In that shared laughter, a soft accord began to form, that ancient melody of forgiveness and hope started weaving through the dance, stitching the scattered remnants of family with threads of warmth. For the first time, Ethan felt lightness, like burdens were lifted, a sensation emanating from each delighted twirl and exuberant clap. As the music changed, the dance transitioned into a softer pace, allowing for whispers of connection and intimacy. Ethan turned to Jason, who was grinning ear to ear as Lily twirled wildly, arms outstretched. "This feels good," Jason said, his eyes glistening. "I think we both needed this." Ethan nodded, his heart swelling. "It's a start, Jay. A real start." And then his gaze drifted toward Susan, who stood on the edge of the dance circle. She looked hesitant, but when Lily caught her eye, the warmth of her daughter's joyous invitation nudged something deep inside. "Susan, come on!" Lily cheered, waving her hands, her innocence breaking through any lingering reservations. With a burst of courage, Susan stepped forward, her past turmoil falling away with each stride. The moment she entwined her fingers with Lily's, Ethan felt the air shift deeply within him. It was an evolution that transcended mere steps. It was their family coming back together, realigning in beautiful harmony. As the melody crescendoed, laughter and movement blended into a symphony of promise. Beneath the vibrant sky, with the warmth of community embracing them, the family began to reclaim what had been lost. Ethan watched in awe as Susan finally surrendered to the rhythm, her smile blooming, illuminating not just her face but the corners of their shared past. "Let us make memories, not mistakes," Ethan thought, anchoring himself into the moment. Each movement brought them closer to healing. Every laugh enhanced the bond that had faded but never fully extinguished. And deep down, he understood that this was about more than just a joyful dance. It was about rewriting their story. As dusk settled in, painting the sky with hues of orange and violet, Ethan felt a transformation wash over him, a renewal of spirit woven through connection, laughter, and acceptance. They were no longer shackled by fear or doubt. In that profound moment, he embraced the truth: family isn't just about blood, it's about love, forgiveness, and the power of coming together to conquer whatever hardships lie ahead. Lily beamed up at him, a lighthouse guiding him through stormy seas, and Ethan took each moment in with a full heart. This was just the beginning, he realized. A journey filled with laughter, sharing in triumphs, and celebrating who they truly were as a family. They would face life's obstacles hand in hand, learning to dance through the music of life together. And as the crowd cheered, Ethan felt an urgency swell inside him, a need to boost their precious time into something even more meaningful. You need to subscribe now if you want to be part of this journey and witness the adventures that lie ahead. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this powerful ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share.